Before I begin this video, I just want to say thank you to Profanity Batman for making this background animation. I'm going to include a link to his channel in the description down below. I'll probably start using this animation for when I make videos where I talk about random stuff, because at least it's a bit less distracting than a visualizer, but not as boring as a plain white piece of paper. Anyways, onto the video. Hey guys, I'm Pixel19 here. Welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to talk about a question that I know a lot of people have ever possibly wondered, and is actually something that I've been doing a little bit of research into, and so I thought I could clarify it in this video because, you know, maybe you guys are interested. And that question is, if you haven't been able to read the title because you can't read English, the question is, why are vocalists sometimes not credited? Now, there are a couple possible reasons, but I'm going to be going over three main reasons as to why they could have possibly not been credited. Now, the first reason that I have over here is that the vocalist who might have been featured in the track may have requested to not have been credited because of various different reasons. And two examples that I have just right off the bat. The first one is being Bishu's most recent track, Eyes Wide Open. Most of you have probably seen that the old album cover that was on Monstercat Gold and the new one are actually different, and that is because the old cover had featuring Sophie Rose, I believe. I'm going to put a screenshot in this video, but I actually have an unlisted mashup of an Eyes Wide Open mashup that I don't think I'm going to be releasing because, I mean, I personally like it, but I'm not sure if it's something that I want to upload. But as you guys can see from the screenshot, I used the old album cover before they changed it. As you can see, here's the old album cover and here's the new one. Another example of this I had was earlier today. I was actually talking with Bad Computer in a Discord chat, and I asked him about the vocalist in New Dawn, and it turns out that the vocalist in New Dawn, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she actually requested to not be credited in this track because she didn't want her vocals to be attributed or related to the EDM scene. So that's basically one of the examples. The second example that I have here is that some artists are actually held back from being credited due to contractual obligations that they might have with other labels. Now, there have been a couple of issues with a number of labels that what they'll try to do, and I know Monstercat has been not at fault, but at the hands of this, where they'll try to get an artist onto their label, but because this said artist is locked in a contract, they are not allowed to release to another label or independently until they have finished off that contract. And this sometimes does happen with vocalists. And what they'll often do to work around this contract limitation is that the vocalist can feature in a song, but they will not be credited for it. I do believe this happened once with Spectrum by Muzzy, though I do know that is actually another situation that is somewhat related yet different. Might go into it a bit later on because I know a bit of the information, but I don't know a lot of it, so I don't want to spew out any fake news. But that is actually one of the reasons as to why sometimes vocalists cannot be featured. And that's also happened with a number of collaborations. Sometimes there will be two people that are working on a track, but because they're being held back by a contract with another label, they cannot put their name to it. I do not have any names or any examples of this because I haven't done that much research, but I mean, it is a genuine reason as to why, and if you guys wanted to do some research, you could probably find a lot of stories about it. The last example as to why they might not be credited, and is actually personally my most favorite one, is that there is a possibility that the vocalist used in a track is not actually a featured vocalist. Now, that might sound a bit weird, so I'm going to explain a bit. Personally, before, when I used to listen to a lot of music, I used to just think that artists had some kind of like large access to as many vocalists as they wanted to. Like they could just hit one up and just be like, yo, Anna Yvette, want to help me out with a track? Or be like, hey, Holly Drummond, I got a cool track, you want to sing for me, right? Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it. But what I found out is that if you do some research, there is a pretty big possibility that the vocals in a track were actually taken off of a sample pack. And for those of you who might be thinking, well, can you list off some examples? I actually can list off some examples. A lot of the credit goes to Monster because he was the first person that told me about it, and he actually was able to find a lot of samples on Splice. One of the examples that I do remember is I believe Dill. He made a video about different tracks that were sampled from Monstercat. And one of the tracks that he listed was that Summer Was Fun's acapella that was used in My Dear was actually sampled from another song that was released from NCS. Post-edit, I do realize now that Dill actually did clarify in the video that the sample that was used in the 2 tracks was actually from a sample pack. Just want to input this now so that you guys, I don't misrepresent him or anything, but yeah, just wanted to put that in. My Dear was not sampled from that track, and that NCS track wasn't sampled from My Dear either. They both actually used this acapella from a splice sample. And if you guys don't believe me, I'm gonna play the acapella right now.
I tried this, tried that, tried everything, coming right back, won't you wait for me, I need you to stay right there, I'm coming right away, my dear.
So this is just an example of an acapella that you can just find if you do a bit of research. I'm not exactly sure how Monster found it, but if you guys need another example, I recently found this myself, where you guys probably remember Bandit by Kuro with the whole understand it, I'm a bandit, all that vocal work. What ended up happening was I was doing my compilation for like the best of trap for this year, and I found a track that used that exact same sample. Now obviously the 2 artists probably have used them differently. Play the other track right now.
Understand it, I'm a fucking bandit. Understand it, I'm a fucking bandit.
But as you can see, there are a lot of other ways that people could have sampled tracks, and because of the way, I guess, with like fair use and whatnot, they don't always come from sample packs, though I do believe with the way that sample packs work is that you pay to be able to acquire these samples, and in return you don't have to give credit to the sample pack because they're being paid for the samples and to access and whatnot. And then there is also the whole thing about sampling other songs, such as how Go Berserk, the sample wasn't taken from a Splice sample pack, it was taken from another track. I'm just gonna play a couple other samples because I think these are pretty cool. Like, really, not that many songs actually used featured vocalists that aren't from a sample pack, as many might think. I know this was kind of mind-blowing for me when I figured that out.
Touch me. This roller coaster. A long time.
I can't love you.
Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do think this was a pretty interesting topic to cover. I didn't see many people talking about it, but I hope this video does bring some clarity to this topic and the situation. If you guys enjoyed this video, I really would suggest that you, I don't know, share it with a friend or hit that motherfucking like button, hit that notification bell. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm the only Pixel 19, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.